Tell Everyone. When the last time we watched Megyn Kelly, I think she had the Red Scare girls on, and Dasha took a sneak puff. And remember, Megyn Kelly had this attitude of like, what have I become? You know, she's sitting there for 9K views. Let's see what she's up to now with her Tony Hinchcliffe interview. 10K view. When we checked this 6 days ago, it was at 9K. It's at 10K. Megyn Kelly. I mean, they've made movies, Hollywood films about Megyn Kelly being a superstar, abusive woman or something. Remember that? Yeah. She was fired. She was one of the biggest news. This would be like if Barbara Walters was only pulling 10K. So to have your own show like this, the Megyn Kelly Show, and it's just getting 10K views, tops, you know, and nobody's really watching, and you're interviewing nobodies like Tony Hinchcliffe. You could see it in her eyes, like how disappointed she is in herself. So here it is, Tony Hinchcliffe on the Megyn Kelly Experience, only online.
I've been bullied so badly, I wanted to stand up for people. Like I wanted to confront bullies. It's sort
That's
of
exactly
actually,
right.
It's been a true line in my.
So they start off right away about how she's been bullied. She's got Tony on Zoom. And Tony is in his little bedroom, his office. Look at his office. We get a look into his office here. Here he is, white walls. He's got a nice printer here, printer combo, fax machine, scanner combo. Let's see what he's got here. He's got a nice poster leaning against the wall, probably a film he worked on. And here's where I really draw the line. He's got about a dozen backstage VIP laminates pinned to the wall behind him to brag about what he's been allowed in VIP and where he's been. It's one of our biggest things here. So this is his stupid office. And of course, Tony's sitting here right going, that's exactly right. They've been through all the same things as you. That's 100%. He does that with everything. Anytime someone ever says something to Tony, he goes, that's exactly right. Yes, that is. Yep. And we all, started out with fill in the blank. It's always like that. And she's talking about how she was bullied because she did blackface on national TV. No, she didn't even do that. She goes, what's wrong with dressing up like Mr. T? And they fired her. That was another crazy one that you should have never backed down from. There's nothing wrong with dressing up as black people. And I stand by that 100%. There is nothing wrong with dressing up as black people. I dressed up as Obama, Mkembe Mutombo. I mean, you should see the slaves I dress up as nightly. Walking around, and I'm doing stuff. I'm hanging from Vine. I've decorated a whole room as a jungle where I play black jungle. Not blackface. I do the whole black environment. So, and you'll never find the room. You'll never enter the room. It's the red room. Okay, here they are, the two of these guys. Megyn Kelly talking about bullying with Tony.
I've been bullied so badly, I wanted to stand up for people. Like I wanted to confront bullies. It's sort of, and actually it's been a true line in my journalism career too. You experienced this too, not with bullies per se, but just
Megyn.
tough guys everywhere around you. And you were never like the big, meaty, muscly dude. Mm-hmm. You had to find another way of protecting yourself. And it's directly related to what you do.
Your backstory is you needed to find a way to protect yourself because you were so small. So you decided to become Roast Master General's friend. That's exactly right. Yeah, his lips are really... Maybe he's doing blackface right now. That looks like a black guy's mustache and lips.
Holy fuck, man.
That's exactly right. I'm being edgy. I'm being black.
This face is crazy.
I know. Like, look at this face.
What the fuck are you doing?
And look at Megyn. She instantly is like, what have I become? You put Vaseline on your lens for this? By the way, you got to tell your guests to also put on the same Vaseline effect, because then it really, one of them is really sharp and you are really blurry. You see? It has to match. Just because you're a girl doesn't mean you could do a glam dream sequence filter. I mean, look how blurred that is to keep her youthful skin alive. Meanwhile, Tony's sitting here. You know, this looks like it could be VR. It's very clear. Well, VR is not that clear. Looks like it could be 8K. VR is very blurry. I could barely see in VR. This is me in VR. What the fuck? What the? Take this off me. All right, here you go.
Find another way of protecting yourself. And it's directly related to what you do today.
Exactly right.
Yeah, absolutely. The neighborhood that I grew up in was the most dangerous part of youngsters.
Okay, the most dangerous part. You and Big Mike, huh? Youngstown, it was the most dangerous part of town, yeah? Yeah, right. Is what I meant.
Town. So there's houses being arsoned, people being shot.
Yeah, you were right. You were Eminem,
every
right?
city in America, there was always a police siren that you could hear from wherever you were. That's just what was normal to me. And so it was very dangerous, and it was all very real. And
that's the classic, like, yeah. If you're some insecure guy, you've always wanted to be the big tough guy, you've always been a complete nerd, you've always been a guy that everyone thought was gay. Yeah, now you got this whole new life. Why not rewrite like Josh Denny? Oh yeah, it was just all black people. I was basically an urban decay. Drive-bys, like I got, people would do drive-bys at me all the time. They forget. No, you didn't. Maybe that was going on in your state. It's like I could say, oh yeah, the south side of Chicago, is so dangerous. I'm 100 miles away. So that's what these guys do. They all do this. Santino, all of them, they pretend, they go, well, I was from Ohio. There's a place there that did have violence that we heard about on the news. So I was involved in it. And they, believe me, they twist this. Tony did not grow up around thugs.
And so it was very dangerous, and it was all very real. And I mean, bullying isn't.
This is not usually the voice that you get from coming out of the hood. Hey, brothers!
Have you ever heard what it sounds like from a white guy from the hood? You just did on Amityville. Yeah, so like growing up, it was really. That's how you would talk. Scientifically sound. That's how you would talk. Now, oh, hello. Because how dangerous could it have been if they let you have that voice? I mean, if you were hanging around with danger and you were allowed to have that voice in this look, well, then that should have been well documented as something crazy that happened in the hood. I mean, that should be a big movie. So you didn't grow up in the hood. They wouldn't allow you to be anywhere near their hood. You drove by, you locked the door, then you told people you were there.
Dangerous, and it was all very real. And I mean, bullying isn't even the word that was going on in my neighborhood. It was just straight up like thuggery, I guess we could call it. Like it was just
thuggery. Do you mean the black people that I am at odds with these days? I bet Megyn Kelly wants to move away from all the blacks too. I want more blacks. I would love it if everywhere I went, I couldn't even move, that there were just black people and they were all just raping Jules in front of me and ripping her with their giant claws. So I'm the opposite of these guys, to be honest.
You shouldn't make eye contact with anybody. That's not a lot of fear, a lot of danger. And my whole way of handling that is if anybody ever tried anything with me, I would just make fun of them. From the youngest, from as far back as I can remember. One of the famous...
This is what he forgets. You're barely good at that now. Imagine how much you sucked when you were younger. They talk about as if, like they'll fantasize and rewrite their childhood as if the best joke they told this month was like the kind of stuff they were doing back then. No. You barely have it figured out now as far as the making fun of people and being ruthless. You're more ruthless than Joe Rogan. I think that's just about it. Like Joe Rogan can't make fun of somebody. If you put a picture in front of Joe and said, make fun of this for 10 seconds, he would go, he can't. But then Tony will like, well, that guy's he could either be 15 or 55. Who knows what age he is? And Joe will be like, that's incredible. How do you come up with it so fast? Well, yes, of course. I've been doing this my whole life from the hood. No. So you were not... And I'm telling you, it's like your meanest joke now wouldn't stand up to the hood to make gangsters go, he's one of us. Put the guns down, fellas. He could stay. Thank you for joining our gang. Here are our guns and the last of the money we have. He is our leader. No. Sorry.
One of them from the youngest, from as far back as I can remember. You know, one of the famous little stories that I always tell is that I got beat up on my first bus ride to my first day of school. I made fun of who ended up being and still is one of my good friends. I made fun of him because his grandma walked.
By the way, it's not cool to tell all these stories about how you were bullied to death. I've suppressed mine. Okay? They're deleted. Get a clue. You don't sit around and go, yeah, my whole life I was bullied. Everyone hated me. Oh, really? Everyone? Oh, you must have been so cool. You must be cool now. No. This is what your story should be. How were you received as a kid? I was the king of the school. Everyone feared me. Everyone respected me. I was very rich. Had my own classroom that was more of a crash pad, cool, sweet pad. I drove. I had my own bus. I was basically, the principal would come to me for answers. You know, I was basically like the owner of the school. Not the manager, the owner. I owned the property. The teachers all would have to ask me if they could even do these curriculums. I would say no. That's a cool backstory. Not, oh yeah, I was thrown around like a rag doll. But now I'm good. That was only 20 years ago.
And still is one of my good friends. I made fun of him because his grandma walked him out to the bus stop. And like he's standing there with his grandma as the bus pulls up. And I go, I can't remember exactly what I said.
Can't
basically
remember
something
exactly.
like, oh, yeah.
And these people who tell, I'm telling you, he always gets himself into trouble with this. He's like, yeah, I had the most hilarious thing happen to me. Standing there with my buddy, and you won't believe it. It was so, I don't really remember what it was, but I'm telling you, it crushed, and I crushed, and yeah. You got to at least have some lie prepared. These stories never go over well. And Megyn Kelly's sitting there like this.
Yeah, please.
Megyn Kelly is acting like your friend's mom when you're in 8th grade, lying through your teeth. Okay, little boy. You know, Megyn Kelly's looking at this and going, this is what I've become. I'm talking to this little boy with headphones who's telling me how he's a killer and a slayer now.
Up. And I go, I can't remember exactly what I said, but basically something like, oh, you had to have your grandma stand out there with you. And he punched me right in the face. So when I arrived to school, the first thing I had to do was rinse blood out of my mouth in a little tiny water fountain. Anyway, it's just...
Are we both on his side in this story? So far, I'm on his side.
Whoa! Stand up!
Megyn.
So Megan's sitting there, she's going, oh, you know, he's like, I got punched in the face. My first day of school, my first memory was watching blood out of my teeth. She's like, we're on the bully side, right? I decided I hate you. You fag. I could say fag. I've been blacklisted for blackface talk. So this kind of throws him off. Listen to this.
And he punched me right in the face. So when I arrived to school, the first thing I had to do was rinse blood out of my mouth in a little tiny water fountain. Anyway, it's just...
Are we both on his side in this story? So far, I'm on his side.
Yeah.
Did you see that? Let's see that again. I mean, this guy.
It's just...
Are we both on his side in this story? So far, I'm on his side.
I deserve it.
Wait, I really got to get a pause on that.
Story, so far, I'm on his side.
Kanye. Only Kanye turns that quick. Push him if you see... No, don't do that. Look at her. And she's like, you are so pathetic. I can't believe men like you even exist. I mean, she's
She has
used to
a lot of teeth. So it's like an AI image.
Well, Joe Rogan thinks this is the hottest woman alive, remember? The ice queen, he calls
she's
her.
pretty hot.
What?
But she bites.
She's not hot. This is all an illusion. She's a 75-year-old woman. What's hot about this?
Well, I mean, for a 75-year-old woman,
Looks like
she's
Megamind.
hot.
Looks like goddamn Megamind. You guys know Megamind? I don't. Okay, let's see some more.
Yeah, no, yeah, I deserve it. I didn't know at the time that, that's what could happen. I hadn't really gotten punched in the face that much at that point.
Street justice.
You know why? Speak justice. That's mocking you. You know, the Redbar sign, cut to the wide shot, that Redbar sign just caught my eye. And, the color's actually pretty washed out on this wide shot. You know what it really looks like? It reminds me of the Portillo's logo. Maybe that's why I like Redbar so much, because I feel like I'm in a damn Portillo's. Studio redesign V2. We turn this into a living, working Portillo's.
Yes.
With staff.
The
This becomes just a virtual restaurant. I would love that. We're going to have a new camera shot that shows more of our sign coming up. And I've been getting a lot of asks. People want to know what's beyond in the studio. And as we get into season 21, okay, we're going to start snooping around this place and seeing what else goes on here. You guys excited for that? We've been really holding you back, barely showing you anything here. And boy, do we have a factory of surprises coming up. And we're going to be doing a factory-style podcast where everything is more by the book. Let's watch a little bit more from Tony.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, and I mean, that's just carried on. And then I hated all my teachers all throughout school too. I always felt like they had something
cool.
against me.
She's got like a master's degree. She loved school. She's like, I can't believe I'm talking to somebody who hated their teachers and was bullied. This is not the life I wanted. So this is what you get. Yeah, when you offend the black people, now you're on YouTube talking to people that didn't like the teachers. Not her crowd.
Could bully me more because I didn't have like a dad to complain or to go to the parent teacher meetings. So I felt like they were my bully.
She meant like I've been bullied by the woke.
Yes.
She thought you were coming on to talk about how you've been bullied by the woke. She doesn't have any interest in your childhood torment. Why would she? Hi, today's topic is a nerd. No political agenda here. Just a nerd who got bullied. Which, are we pro or against that subject? We don't know. We only know that we're against woke bullying.
Bullies, the teachers, and the teachers were telling me making fun of people's never going to get you anywhere. And I mean, it's just, the story's just wild to think that I use that as fuel to literally
Oh my God,
make my entire life exactly that.
Poor life she's built first. I mean, this is like how I felt when I was interviewing Helen McCready. This is me interviewing Ellen Mark-Crowley. Look what you have to go through as an interviewer.
I think there's more.
At my show, Kill Tony, I make fun of people. I've written for the last, 10 Comedy Central roasts.
If some woman like this came up to me and asked me about my comedy, I would go, trust me, it's not anything you'd want to be involved with. Goodbye. Go do your lady things, please. Oh, you want to know about Todd Detter? Oh, yeah, Todd Detter. He was a fan. You start really. Do you know Mountain? Want to hear about Mountain? What about my disease? Oh, that might be interesting. Okay, let's see what she does.
Been on a bunch of roasts, just did more roasts recently. The roast of Bert Kreischer. Yeah, I literally
look at her. She
make fun of people for a living. So,
like, how does it come to you? And maybe that's a weird question.
Okay. She's got to get to work somehow, huh? When they stop talking, you got to get to work.
Skip ahead. I swear it's not letting me search the transcript, but wasn't there a part where she was like, what would you say about me right now? Roast me.
Well, we could play it. It's not that long, right?
Like, we could skip like a minute. Okay.
But I would always love to be more clever in my takedowns of people. And, if you don't have it, you don't have it. Just the way I talk about somebody.
He doesn't have it.
I'm not talking about on the air, just like when you dislike somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's a gift that you either have or you don't have, but
Which is every time. And I got an email about a guy who approached Tony. Tony's been approached about me hundreds of times. This is what people do. They go to Kill Tony. They get access to Tony and they go, Tony, Redbar. And he goes, yeah, he's not funny. And then he gets all mad. He never has said anything else. Yeah, he's not even funny. That's all he says. Dozens of accounts. We've got an email here. I'll read this email after the show, but keep that in mind. He doesn't have something in the chamber. Where's his stuff in the chamber for me? And all the guys who approach me, they go, Redbar, huh? He's not funny. That's not really like, how hard are you? How much of a roast master are you? If that's all you could say. Oh. Sorry.
Am I wrong? Was it something you developed from that moment on the school bus forward, and is therefore it's a skill any of us can have?
I think it's a little bit of both, you find out. I mean, yeah, there's a natural skill for it, but I definitely had it evolved and tailored. I was lucky enough to have a great mentorship under Jeff Ross, the roast master general, a decade and a half.
Listen to when he says, I had a great guru by the name of Jeff Ross, the roast master general. Look, as if she knows Jeff Ross. Watch this.
Mentorship under Jeff Ross, the roast master general, a decade and a half ago. I went on the road with him and I told him, if you ever need help writing jokes or anything, I specialize in making fun of people. He's like, what's your email?
She had to literally go like this. Fuck. I mean, the proof is right here. I have the tapes. Let's see what he does next.
Let's go. And the rest is history. And he taught me how to do it a little bit sweeter. You know what I mean? Instead of just going straight in on something, the first thing that you see, you can, hit them in the ribs a little bit or make fun of something that they don't see coming. He taught me how to craft it a little bit more into like a martial art rather than just being very blunt about the first thing that you notice about somebody.
I mean, you cannot be taking that.
Yes, I have a martial art in me called I'll Make Fun of You.
I mean, this is... Imagine telling somebody's mom this story. She'd be like, okay, it's very exciting. Have you ever talked to somebody's mom, you tell her some story, and you could tell she's like, no way. That was my whole life. I'd go up to moms and go, you wouldn't believe what happened to me at school, and push their son aside. They'd be like, I don't know you. Stay away from my son, you Jew rat. I lived in a very anti-Jewish town. They were really unreasonable.
Buddy, it's definitely an art form, but just like anything, you find out like, Tiger Woods was a great golfer when he was 10, but he also practices all the time. So I do that all the time.
You're the Tiger Woods?
I don't say what I'm thinking about somebody like me.
There's that watch. Can we get an ID on this piece?
It's a brick by Dave Portnoy.
Wait a minute. It is. Is that a brick watch by Dave Portnoy? That's a brick watch. Yeah, we found it, guys. You can put this on Reddit. Mike from Redbar identifies Tony Hinchcliffe's watch. Answer, brick watch. Dave Portnoy, tell everybody. It's an expensive watch. So he is wearing a brick watch. Put that in the TFAC subreddit with a note. Dear TFAC, join me. Thank you. No, don't write that. Don't write that. Just tell them Mike found out about this watch. Maybe you guys want the info. And then make sure you end the post with, I don't even really like this guy, but, we need the info. So I really don't like this guy. I mean, he's such a hack, but he does have some news information that we need. These pieces of information are very important to us. God. I gotta go, guys. I gotta get ready for my next post. I'm ready. Fuck. This guy. Oh. Any news? I need news.
Making fun of somebody, if I don't
I'm not
say
making
it
fun
out
of them.
loud, I'm still thinking it, and I can use it at a later time on somebody else.
You must be terrifying to spend time with at a party. This is like, I'm having the same feeling as I had when I...
Well, now at parties, I'm actually pretty cool. I'm not kidding. She goes, you must be pretty terrifying to spend at parties. And he's like, well, no, I've actually worked very hard to be very entertaining at parties. I actually go in with a plan. Watch this.
It
else.
must be terrifying to spend time with at a party. This is like, I'm having the same feeling as I had when I interviewed the radical honesty guy who came up with this whole program where you have to say whatever you're thinking and you can't have any filter.
like a
The whole
jerk.
time I was like, oh my God, he's going to lay it on me any second. You must be a terrifying party guest.
Nah, I'm pretty cool. It's pretty.
You're pretty cool. Because he didn't work this hard to be a terrifying party guest. He was a nerd, see? He wants to be the life of the party now. He wants people to walk in and go, oh my God, Tony, I got to text people. Tony Hinchcliffe is here. So he couldn't even understand that. No, I was actually pretty cool.
Terrifying party guest.
Nah, I'm pretty cool. I'm pretty mellow. If I'm around strangers, I know how to hide it a little bit. But if I'm around my crew here in
that's
Austin,
wonderful.
like last
Next
night, we were out at a
up,
bar
train
with a
crash.
big round table, and it was just all my friends that know me so well. Then I can really amp it up and just be
okay.
direct. Wow, you look like crap today. I mean, just no humor to it whatsoever. And everybody laughs. You know what I mean? Just being blunt and
That's
ridiculous.
his thing. And I'm like a wild man around my friends. I'll be like, wow, you look like crap today. And they die. She's like, okay, well, in the comedy world that crap must be a huge insult over there. I get called cunt by my actual boss. So.
Ridiculously.
Do you know my mom? It's weird. I've been through this before.
Don't fall into the fools. See, she's becoming a fool herself here now. Do you know my mom? We have the exact same briefcase.
Lady.
She's a sweet woman.
Sounds familiar.
Okay, and then it ends.
One of our sponsors
We're
today.
really sorry about that clip, everybody. 10K views. Time to celebrate. I mean, you can't have this serious of a news background with 10K views. That's just insane.